Howdy, welcome back to another Fly Time Friday brought to you on behalf of Working Class Fishing and Morris Fly Company. Today we're going to be talking about how I tie an Caddis. Caddis was a pattern developed by Altro in 1950, and it's kind of a staple all around the world now. If you don't have one in your box, you're doing yourself an injustice. Hey, dude. Hello, dudes over there. All right, so this is a size 14, 419 fire hole, and you're gonna see the camera rocking because I don't have any way to get in close on this and show you guys what I'm doing unless I'm physically sitting on my computer. So anyway, I'm just using some brown thread. Ooh, you guys can't see that. Some brown 8/0, 419. Like I said before, you're gonna need some elk hair. You can get bleached, natural, whatever color you want. I like natural and bleach. Those are the only two color elk hair that I use. And then you're gonna need some kind of dubbing. You don't need it. I'd recommend it because you can keep it a little bit wispier, a little bit light. Or you can do a thread body, or you can just keep a really skinny body. It doesn't really matter. The fish eat all of them, but I like the kind of thin tapered body with dubbing. This is Simperfly K-Puck. It's a dry fly dubbing. It's kind of pricey. I mean, you can also use wool roving, but once this gets wet, this sinks, like heavily sinks, okay? So that's something that this, or dry fly dubbing in general, is good for. Okay, and there's some other things that you can do also. We're gonna add a hackle to this one. I don't usually do that, but kind of want to on this one, so we're going to. So this is not dry fly hackle. This is a trim pack wet fly hackle. So anyway, we'll go ahead and dress our hook here. And I'm coming back right to the bend, about where the barb would be. Everyone says that. If you look at your hook, right, as it's about to bend, that's where I'm stopping, okay? If you're fishing rough water, I'd also recommend putting a piece of wire tied in back here too. But I fish still water primarily. I'm tying in from the tip on this hackle. You just pull the fibers to the rear, and then I tie the tip in. And then all that's going to get covered up, so just make sure it's secure, okay? All right, now we're going to start dubbing. And we've even got a color on here called Caddis green. Caddis come in a lot of different colors though. I actually kind of want to do, maybe let's just do an actual, let's do a cream Caddis. How about that? So a little bit of K-pop goes a really long way, okay? Get a little piece of something in here. There we go. A little bit goes a long way. This could be too much, we'll find out, but you kind of want to separate it, get it a little bit spread. Okay, so we're kind of thin, transparent, and then when I'm dubbing this on, I'm going clockwise. I'm gonna start my wraps. Good pressure. Building that body, and I'm gonna need a little bit more up here, so I'm gonna backtrack and then come back to the front of that. And take a little bit more cream, not much. If this were like a Catskill, that would have been plenty. Oop, that would have been plenty of dry fly dubbing. But we're doing a Caddis. So I'm up, showing you guys again. I'm going clockwise. Carving up that bad thread wrap. I'm leaving a little space behind the eye. Not much, but a little. And then I'm going to give it that little brown head, okay? Now I'm going to take this hackle. I'm going to start palmering it over and around like this. Gonna trap it. Then I'm gonna snip this tip out like that. I'm gonna pull that rearward. I'm gonna tie that down again over that head. Okay, so now our hackle's secure. Okay, and it's a little long, to be honest. So you can go through and snip that, but for me, I don't really care. That's gonna be fine for what I'm doing. Okay, you have some options here. If you want to add flash, which I have some Mirage crystal flash here that's kind of hard to see. You have some Mirage crystal flash, right? So you can do a little bit of flash here because we're about to start building our elk hair wing. So, I mean, I've got it here on hand, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. It's maybe a little, I mean, I can measure it if you want, but I'm going to guess it's about a 4-inch section, maybe 3. And all I'm doing is I'm doubling it over. I'm doubling it over twice. And so now we got 4 small sections of flash. I don't want to get a cat out of here. That's Tober. I'm going to tie this back. You do not want it to extend past your barb, okay? And I'm actually just going to, not your barb, but your the rear of your hook. So that's still a little long because I actually want to get all 8 strands in here. I wouldn't usually do that because I like to keep them kind of subtle on the flash. Sorry, I know the camera's rocking right now. Okay, now we got like this kind of fat head. I did too many wraps there is what I did. Alright, that's better. Alright, I backed off some of the wraps there. Alright, and as you can see on this wing, kind of, maybe not, there's this subtle flash in there on the top. Alright, if you've got a hair stacker, super helpful here. They're pretty inexpensive. You don't have to have something crazy. Now, the amount of deer hair you use, or the elk hair, or the moose mane, whatever you're using, you gotta kind of fill out how much you want. And people try to give like, oh, use a pencil. And when they're saying something like that, I mean, when you pull it out, it's the amount of a pencil, right, in diameter. Nothing wrong with that. It's a good way to show people, but I'm gonna, if you have a stacker, what you do is you put tips in towards the bottom like this, and I'll restack. So tips down towards the bottom, tips in, and then you kind of tap it. I tap like this, and then I tap like that, and I'm tapping on my mouse pad so it's not super loud because if I'm over there it's really loud. Do not get impatient with your stacks. Alright, so now you can see we've got tips aligned. There's a couple there that aren't, not the end of the world. Alright, so you're gonna pinch tips, you're gonna pull back. Alright, you're not trying to break it, you're just gently pulling through that. You're getting your underbody, your under hairs out, and you're getting your short fibers out of here. So now we should have, that's a broken tips out. Alright, when we go to tie this in, I'm actually going to spin my thread counterclockwise. And what that's going to do is this first wrap, once I go to put it in, so when you're measuring this, do it however you want, but I like it to be pretty compact and tight. So we're looking just a little bit past the hook point. Alright, so transfer from your right to your left, or your left to your right, whichever way you are. Okay, and then pinch. Why we went counterclockwise with our thread is because we want that thread to move backwards. Okay, so loose wrap, and then I pull down, and then I'm going to pull up and come back down. Do one more wrap, not trap the fibers, and then as you can see, there's the bottom, and it's nice and flat. This is our fly here. right? This is the belly of it. So what you're seeing here is those hackle fibers, which I'm going to trim because I do want that movement from the for legs, but I don't want that much to be there to obstruct how the fly actually kills and moves. Okay, so then just pull your elk hair back. Now, I didn't really tell you where to tie it in at, but I actually leave heads on pretty much all mine. I don't tie them in up and as far as a lot of other people because I like knowing that my thread's nice and secure, and I don't like pulling it through all that hair. And you'll see that after we trim this, you can't really tell anyway. So I'm getting way too many wraps on that head. I'm bad about that. I'm grab my whip finisher. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Give her one more. 4. Alright, that's a nice secure whip finish. That's what I'm doing when I'm pulling. I pull away and down. What that does is it seats that whip. So now pull all these long fibers back. If you got any errant fibers, you can cut them out later. But right now we're just pulling all these butts, this butt section over here. Okay, I had one of the tips pulled forward. You're going to pull forward. You're going to come in at an angle. You're going to snip. Alright, that gives you that caddis-like head, right? And then you can even put antenna and stuff in here if you'd like. I'm not going to, because I like keeping flies pretty simple if I can. But I'll show you what I'm going to do with this underbody hackle. I'm going to trim it up to, so right here is my hook point. I'll show you. I'm going to snip. I'm going to come in at an angle. I'm going to snip, come in at an angle. I'm going to snip. Okay, so now I've got these little legs underneath that are going to move, and they're going to help support the fly a little bit, but that's not really the purpose of this. It's to give that little bit of extra motion. So now I've got these nice trimmed hackle legs underneath. I've got a little flash in that wing underneath. The elk hair is proportional. If your elk hair is too long, flies are gonna, not flies, but fish are gonna miss it, because not necessarily all the time. You can have really, really big, like size 10 elk hair caddis, and fish will eat them. That's what I used to tie all the time, was like size 10s. But this, I prefer 14s up to, I do 16s all the way up to maybe 12s, rarely 12s unless someone asks for them. 14s like my go-to elk hair and terrestrial size for the most part. And anyway, I'll put the picture of this fly in the front of this video. And as always, got fuzzies in my hair. As always, I'm John Morris, and thanks for watching our second episode of Fly Tying Friday. And if you got any questions, leave them below. You can find us on Instagram at Working Class Fishing, and you can find me specifically at Morris Fly Co. And thanks for watching, and see ya.